Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to give you some exercises on how you can overcome and counteract negative suggestions and limiting beliefs from your past, from your childhood, things that were suggested to you that are now limiting your life and your potential. I'm going to give you some exercises. This is out of The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. I'm going through this book now and I'm finding different things, like the best parts of it, and I'm going to bring that into the channel. I'm not just going to go down the list and just read it chapter by chapter. I'm actually going to go through this and I'm going to pick out the best stuff, and I'm going to break all this stuff down and give you practical applications and exercises and what you can use to actually start changing and developing yourself and get you to that next level where you can now begin to live a life that you want to live, start manifesting the things you want, and actually start seeing these things start coming into your life. And you're like, wow, I created this stuff. These things I am visualizing myself, and I've reprogrammed myself, and now I'm living with a vision of the future rather than thinking of the past and staying absorbed in these negative things and traumas from my past. Now I have a vision of the future and I'm really starting to create things into my life. So we're going to begin here with, have you accepted any of these ideas and suggestions from your childhood, from your past? And I want to bring this in myself, is about the music that you're listening to. So I want you to, when you're listening to music, whether you're working out or you're just hanging out or doing something, pay attention to the words of the music that you're listening to. And are they positive or are they negative? And if the music you're listening to, the words of that music isn't lining up with your vision of the future, no longer listen to those. Stop listening to that music. Maybe just go to instrumental music where there's no actual words. But be very careful and just take a look at the music that you're listening to and just see what the words are saying, because those are being impressed. Those words, because you ever notice when you're listening to a song, like over and over and over, you'll catch yourself repeating that song in your mind, even when it's off. Like even when the song is over and it's an hour later, you'll catch yourself repeating that song. It'll still be in your head, playing over and over, impressing into the subconscious mind. So be very observant. And aware of the actual words and the language in the music that you're listening to, because that can impress into the subconscious and create things that you don't want to come into your life, because you're going to be repeating those things unconsciously. So you're accepting those things as true eventually. All right, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. This is, have you accepted any of these suggestions? So he's going to go over a series of suggestions. I may not go through all of them, but I'm just going to give you the gist of it so you understand. All right, so from infancy on, the majority of us have been given many negative suggestions. Not knowing how to thwart them, we unconsciously have accepted them. And that's the same thing with the music. All right, so you will unconsciously accept them if you keep listening to them and your mind keeps running them over and over and over. So here are some of the negative suggestions. You can't. You'll never amount to anything. You mustn't. You'll fail. You haven't got a chance. You're all wrong. It's no use. It's not what you know, but who you know. The world is going to the dogs. What's the use? Nobody cares. It's no use trying so hard, or it's no use trying too hard. You're too old now. Things are getting worse and worse. Life is endless. This always happens to me. The worst things always happen to me. Things like this. So that gives you the gist of this. So pretty soon you'll be bankrupt. All these things. You can't trust a soul. Like you can't trust anyone. All these things are creating a different reality for you based on these impressions. And you've actually allowed these and created these to be true in your world. So unless as an adult, you use constructive autosuggestion, which is a reconditioning therapy, the impressions made on you in the past can cause behavior patterns that cause failure in your personal and social life. And also the parallel realities, you're shifting through different realities within the hologram, within the high-tech simulated game that we're living in. So this actually creates different versions of other people. So if you feel like you can't trust anyone, that everyone is bad, you're gonna shift to that world where that's actually happening. You're actually gonna get versions of those people that are bad, that can't be trusted. And you got to slowly move yourself back into the world where you can start trusting people. So autosuggestion is a means of releasing you from the mass of negative verbal conditioning that might otherwise distort your life pattern, making the development of good habits difficult. Okay, so this is where we're getting into the good stuff. All right, so you can counteract negative suggestions. Pick up the paper any day, and you can read dozens of items that could sow the seeds of futility, fear, worry, anxiety. This is the news. I mean, you can just turn on the TV and watch the news, and this is what you're going to get. Okay, you're going to get dozens of items that could sow the seeds of futility, fear, worry, anxiety, and impending loss, loss of the will of life, knowing that you can reject all these negative suggestions by giving your subconscious mind constructive auto-suggestions. You can counteract all these destructive ideas. Check regularly on the negative suggestions that people make to you. So be consciously aware in the moment, of everything that someone is saying to you, every thought that you're having, everything that you're saying, all the words that are coming in your mouth and the thoughts that you're having, even when it's quiet and silent. So you do not have to be influenced by destructive heterosuggestion. So that's suggestion from other people, okay? So all of us have suffered from it in our childhood and in our teens. If you look back, you can easily recall how parents, friends, relatives, teachers, and associates contributed in a campaign of negative suggestions to you. Study the things said to you, and you will discover much of it was in the form of propaganda. The purpose of much of what was said was to control or instill fear into you. So you can just have this awareness and observe the past and then start connecting the dots, like the things that were said to you, the things that were, suggested to you as a child. Now you are coming into awareness and actually waking up inside of this dream, inside the hologram, and understanding that all of this stuff is propaganda. It's not real, okay? You create your own reality. You create your own reality now, so you don't have to live by all of these suggestions that were made to you from the past. So you can start breaking free from that just from the awareness of it. And like what he says right here, go back and take a look. Take a look at the suggestions. And when you observe something, you can actually change it. You can actually change it just by going back and observing that and understanding now with the awareness, that's not true. Wait a minute, this isn't true. I don't have to live this way based on that. So, and you can actually compare and contrast, the way that you're reacting to your world now every day based on those suggestions. Be like, okay, so this relationship in my life happened, or this career, I failed making this much money because of this suggestion that was made, but it's not real. These suggestions that were made to me are the reasons why I'm failing now, or I feel jealous in this relationship because of these other suggestions that have happened to me in the past. So once you have that awareness, you can go back and look at when it occurred and understand that it's just propaganda. And the purpose was just to control and instill fear into you. And in that present moment, in that actual moment that it happens, when you locate when the suggestion was made to you, and you correlate that with the mistake that you made presently or were about to make in the future, once you make that observation of that and you realize that you don't have to live your life away and you are an independent creator, and in that present moment, when you observe all of that in one space, that's when everything changes. That's the exercise that I want to give you, is to maybe make practical applications throughout the day where you're doing this once, twice, or 3 times of having this awareness and actually going back and looking at that and then correlating that with a mistake that you're making now from a previous suggestion that was made to you. And in that instant moment, everything will change. Everything will change once you observe that, because once you observe something, it changes, because the way that you look at things can actually change them. Just by your observation of a different state of mind can actually change and alter your DNA, your world, everything will shift within the hologram. So just understanding this and then having that observation of it will change everything. All right, so I'm going to go into this heterosuggestion and what the meaning of this is so you fully understand it. Heterosuggestion means suggestions from other people. Basically, like anyone from your past, like even your parents, your friends, your teachers, all of these people suggesting things to you in a suggestible state. Like when you're a kid, you're open to receive suggestions from people because you're looking for knowledge. You're trying to grow as a child in this neutral state. You're accepting these suggestions and then creating these software programs in your mind based on these suggestions. So your world is then created from all of these heterosuggestions from your childhood. So suggestions may be used to discipline and control ourselves, but it can also be used to take control and command over others who do not know the laws of mind. So as you're a child, you don't know the laws of mind. So you're very susceptible to suggestion, heterosuggestion. In its constructive form, it is wonderful and magnificent. In its negative aspects, it is one of the most destructive of all the response patterns of the mind, resulting in patterns of misery, failure, suffering, sickness, and disaster. So basically now that you are studying and following the principles of the law of assumption, the law of attraction, manifestation, and understanding the laws of mind, you understand the laws of mind now. Now you have the awareness to where you're not being suggested anymore through heterosuggestion by other people. Now you are actually you're asking yourself questions now. Like, this doesn't have to be true. So now you can look back in your past and be like, this isn't true. Why do I have to believe this suggestion now? And once you have that observation, then you can change everything. Then it changes your future. You're automatically altering your future because you're having different pictures in your mind through your imagination and now creating a different vision of your future, based on just observing the suggestions that were made when you were a child and start counteracting them. But sometimes this can take some persistence and repetition in going back and observing these and changing them, because the mind through these programs will try to continue to go back to them, through your life. Like you'll find yourself, you start observing it and then you start feeling the change while you're in the present moment. But once you get back into the daily grind, you'll notice that you'll start feeling the same ways again. Just go back and observe that. Just go back into meditation and start observing that and understanding and having the awareness that these suggestions that were made were not true, that's not who you are, okay? These things don't define you anymore. So as an exercise and application form, you just do this throughout the day. Do it 2-3 times or even 5 times a day if you can. And I'll also link a card to a 1-hour meditation that can assist you with these limiting beliefs and these suggestions. So you can play that throughout the day if you're just in the background, or you can use headphones with them. But I'll put that card on the screen with that meditation that you can play that is going to automatically connect and link your new awareness of understanding heterosuggestion with the meditation itself. So you can listen to that and your mind will make those connections. And while you're listening to the meditation, it will start changing the software programs from the suggestions from the past while you're listening to it. And in addition to going back and just observing the suggestions that were made from your past, also be presently aware of the suggestions being made to you all day long, like in your workplace, from your family. Every interaction that you have throughout the day, have that present moment awareness of what is being said to you and what you're allowing to be suggested to you and your beliefs on that. So question everything that's being said to you with the awareness that you're now learning and we're going over, on this channel and all the videos. So make sure that you're having that awareness throughout the day of what is being suggested to you now, as well as going back and changing the old suggestions. Now work on the present ones as well and having that awareness. All right, guys, that's the end of this video, but I'm going to link that meditation, the 1-hour counter suggestion meditation for changing limiting beliefs, on the screen for you now. And my grandfather wants to pop in and say hello and thanks for subscribing and thanks for liking the video. All right, guys, I love you and I will see you in the next one.